c'est deuxième channel, and today we are going to be talking about Lougarous. Now this has been genuinely the most highly requested video on my channel, and I am so excited for this right now. So get your tea, get your water, get your bamboo, get your cremas, and let's get into the bullshit, okay? So if you guys are not familiar with what a Lougawou is, another term that a lot of people say is Lougawou as well as ROUGAROUS or RAGU, whatever. Before we move forward, I have to let you know that a lot of this information is coming from personal stories that I have been told, as well as some additional research that I had to do. I will have resources linked down below. When I was looking this up, I realized that the whole Lougawou situation was not just in Haiti. I personally have never heard anyone I know talk about Rougarous or Lougawous until I made this channel. Now, of all of the mythical creatures in Haiti and all of the myths and folk tales, my very first one that I've ever heard of was Lougawous, okay? Especially because I grew up in a Haitian neighborhood, because people would always throw it at one another as insults. What is a Lougawou? So in turn, I used to sit there like, yeah, you look like a Lougawou, bitch. I didn't know what the fuck I was saying. You know when you're a kid who just repeat the bagay utonde, you know, you just repeat things that you hear because everyone else is saying it. Like, yo, fun fact, when I was younger, I didn't know what get mama meant. So I used to go around telling kids, get mama, and they would get so upset because I guess those kids knew what get mama was, and apparently, eventually one of the kids told their mom, and their mom told bye Bob, and Baba was like, oh, don't say that, that's an insult, that's disrespectful, ya pete fielu, and I'm like, but you always say get mama, like why can't I say get mama? See, this is why you don't curse in front of your kids, okay? Pas di bêtises devant ti mounou because nous va répéter, okay? But anyhow, let's get back to the Lougawou. So one day I was laughing and I said somebody looked like a Lougawou, and my dad was like, do you even know what a Lougawou is? I'm like, no. A Lougawou is a baby-eating monster. He was like, yeah, un Lougawou c'est un moun qui reme voler ti moun. Lougawou c'est un moun qui reme manger ti moun. I said, come again? He's like, yeah, why do you think that we waited so long to bring you to Haiti? I'm like, come again? He's like, yeah, en Haiti, yo any crété, yo kon vin kidnapper ti moun yo, ou bien yo flanquer en fièvre, ti moun nan mouri, la fin lè, ti moun nan enterré, yo akpon, yo manger. Meaning, they get the kid, they kidnap them, they kill them, and they eat them and use them as a sacrifice, or they kill them like with a fever or some type of sickness, and when they're buried, they go and retrieve the kid and eat them and all this extra shit. So before we get into the rest of this shit, make sure you hop down to my merch shop, okay? This is my Queen of Haiti design. It's like a card, super cute. And I got it in white because I don't have any of my merch in white. Most of my merch is black. I was like, you know what? Let me get my white hoodie popping, you know, okay, so I can serve my loa. Let me stop. I'm joking. I don't serve any loa, okay? But most respect to the ancestors and the Most High, whatever high that is for you. But anyhow, I got this in a white, but there's a whole bunch of other colors in the store, as well as other designs. I'm working on more designs, so please bear with me. But if you would like to support, everything you need is down in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Lougawou basically stands for wolf man in French, and that is where the term comes from. I have no idea why the spelling is so vastly different, but that is neither here or there. I would assume due to stories being passed down from generation to generation, different cultural and traditional contexts, that is how the spelling is changed from culture to culture. Now, contrary to popular belief, most of the time, not all of the time, most of the time, Lougawous will only kill people who are doing fucked up shit in life, or the children or descendants of people who are doing fucked up shit in life. Meaning, if you are a bad person, if you have done bad things, if you had made dealings with the devil, if you have done anything remotely like mortally wrong, like steal, kill, cheat, all shit like that, most likely you will be visited by Lougawou. Your kid might get snatched by Lougawou, you might get snatched by Lougawou. Most of the time, they don't go after innocent or pure people or people who have good souls or people who are doing good things, but it does happen, sadly, it really does. Lougawou, as Haitian terms, is a person who was turned into a flesh-eating monster by a baka. And they have the ability to change into different animals and even plants. Yes. A lot of people don't talk about that, but yes. In the Cajun culture, there is a huge prominence of the ROUGAROU, kind of like Lougawou, but with an R, ROUGAROU. Okay, yeah, so ROUGAROU. And in their context, it is a werewolf. And the werewolf is known to just steal misbehaving children. So if you go to like Louisiana and shit like that, they'll tell you like, yeah, you know, don't be bad, the ROUGAROU's gonna come get you. And it's really funny because like a lot of kids who grew up in Louisiana are like terrified of ROUGAROUs. And it's crazy because in Haiti, it's like a completely different thing. Nonetheless, to become a ROUGAROU, most likely you are turned into a Lougawou by either God, by Louisiana standards, or by a boko, by the voodoo standards. A boko will turn you into a Lougawou, or God, or whatever it is that you are serving will turn you into a ROUGAROU if you have done vicious things in life. Kind of like the zombie situation. If you are out here doing fuck shit, disrespecting people, doing shameful things in life, more than likely, if you come across a boko and the boko knows about it and you're terrorizing your community, you will become a motherfucking ROUGAROU or a Lougawou. Contrary to popular belief, ROUGAROUs live among us, okay? If you believe they exist, okay, we're talking to the people that think they exist. I think they exist, but I don't know, I'm a little on the fence, we'll get to that later. Lougawous has to be one thing where it's like, it's never really a consistent thing that I have like really came across. It's always different stories depending on who you ask and what part of Haiti this person comes from. And a lot of times they do suck the blood, so a lot of times there have been references to Lougawous actually being just vampires that can shapeshift. So it's so interesting. So it's like they're vampire shape-shifting demons that are the human form of a sorcerer. It's all over the place. Like the whole Lougawou thing is a huge mystery. Like a huge mystery because it's just all over the place. I've heard so many things. They look just like us because they have a human form, they have a human skin, but they do have the ability to turn into something else. In a ROUGAROU standpoint, they are werewolves, but in a Haiti standpoint, they have all different types of shapes and forms. They could be a cat, they could be a dog, they can be a tree. Yes, a tree. And they usually change forms at night. And the reason they do this is so that they can prowl without being discovered, because in their human form without the skin, or like in their bigger form, monster form type shit, they look really, really scary and everyone is well aware of what they look like, okay? Lougawous in Haiti are not tolerated by any means. If you see a Lougawou, okay, if you suspect a Lougawou, you kill that shit. That's it. Ain't no and ifs or but. We don't give a fuck if it's your wife. We don't care if it's your kid. A Lougawou is a Lougawou and a Lougawou gotta die, because Lougawous are known for literally kidnapping and eating babies. This is a legitimate thing. Now, after my dad had brought to my attention what a Lougawou was, that's when I started hearing stories of like my friends and family telling me that numerous of their family members were eaten, taken, or killed by Lougawou. Common theme is that they kill babies and they kidnap babies. They also do kill adults. And you guys are probably like, why are they out here killing people? Well, the reason being, when a boko turns you into a Lougawou, the Lougawou basically has to give the boko a human sacrifice every year. If the Lougawou does not, they die. Literally, they just die. That's why a lot of times they're on the hunt and they're on the kill, because they gotta give this boko its sacrifice, okay? It's basically them paying their dues to the boko. And if they don't, they will legit die. And the thing is, a lot of you are probably like, what the fuck? Like, who cares if they die? They're out here killing people. They're evil. They're demonic. Yes. However, you gotta remember that, again, these people were turned into Lougawous for being shitty ass people. This doesn't mean that they're dead, kind of like the zombie situation. This just means that their punishment for the rest of their life pretty much is going to be them killing and being more worse than what they were before. They will have to hide in secret. This is their punishment for doing whatever evil deeds that they were doing. And these people are not dead. This usually happens when the person is alive sometimes, but there are times when, you know, like a boko can kill you and then they turn you into a Lougawou. These people usually have lives. They have children, they have husbands, they have this, that, and the third. So now they have to live their shit in secret. So now they have this thirst for blood. They have this thirst for, I don't want to die, so I have to bring my boko a sacrifice. So at this point, it's like, okay, but now they have to live in secret because everybody knows what the fuck a Lougawou is. At this point, it gets a little stressful because it's like they have to get a sacrifice. And you can't just be killing people in Haiti for no fucking reason. It don't work like that. Contrary to what CNN tells you, Fox tells you, and ABC's bullshit, people do not just die and go missing in Haiti for no reason. There's always an underlying cause. In this case of a Lougawou, a lot of people have really heightened senses to pick up a Lougawou because don't nobody play that shit. So first of all, most of the time, if someone is a Lougawou, it is kept a secret. And yes, they are able to have kids after they become a Lougawou and all this extra shit. And a lot of you are probably like, how the fuck can someone be sleeping with a Lougawou? How can someone be, you know, the kid of a Lougawou and not know? Sometimes they do know, and a lot of times they don't know, and they don't find out until somehow, you know, the person goes to slip out at night and they take their skin off and they see the skin lying on the floor. I'm not joking. Did you see a chuckle? This is a serious thing. They go out at night, again, like I said, they change forms. They change into whatever creature it is that they want to that day. And in order to do that, they have to take their human form off. And the only time people figure it out, because there's been numerous stories about this, is when they see the skin on the ground. They're like, hold up, my husband's skin is on the ground. Hold up, my wife's skin is on the ground. What the fuck? So that's when they be like, nah, that's a Lougawou. So in order to kill this Lougawou, there's like a few things you can do. So if you're in the case where somehow you end up marrying, sleeping with, you know, the parent or the daughter, son, whatever of a Lougawou, if you really think that it is whoever it is, because at this point, if their skin is on the ground, you won't really see them because they're out prowling trying to find kids to kill. You are to take the skin of the Lougawou and bathe it in salt and other seasonings, so that when the Lougawou comes back, they can't put it back on because of the salt and all the numerous seasonings that have seeped into the skin. At this point, due to sunlight, due to being figured out, and most likely stress, because if you think about it, if I'm a flesh-eating monster, I don't want nobody in the neighborhood to know, now I can't put my skin back on, they'll just die. So that's how you will know that this person was a Lougawou, and the Lougawou will in turn die by not being able to return back into its human skin. What you also can do is, if you see a Lougawou, or if you think an animal near you or in your laku is a Lougawou, you are to hit it a specific way. So like, say if you see a cat in your yard, you're like, that's a Lougawou. Hit that shit with a stick on its arm, right? So if you hit the cat with a stick on its arm and it starts running away, and then tomorrow somehow you see a fucking neighbor, and the neighbor got like this big ass bruise or like a broken arm, the Lougawou in your yard, that was the Lougawou in your yard. Chill. It's like, nah, I'm not enticing murder, but I'm just saying, like, that's how you can tell. Because if you hurt a Lougawou in its animal form, it will take it in its human form. So if I turn into a cat and I'm a Lougawou and you hit me on my head and you see me the next day with like a knot on my head or a bruise, like, or my head's tied up, most likely I was the Lougawou in your yard. And that's a lot of times how they are able to figure out a lot of things, how they're able to figure out who's a Lougawou and who's not. Now, a lot of you are probably sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, this is coincidence. It is coincidence because a lot of people who have been killed in Haitian villages due to being Lougawous have seemed to be very, very wealthy. They seem to be really affluent members of their communities. And it's like, you know, a lot of people feel like, well, it's all in their head and it's bad people who are kidnapping kids and killing people in Haiti. It has nothing to do with Lougawou or Bocos or anything like that. But many people, like, I don't think I know not one person from the Haitian culture who does not believe in Lougawous. I really don't. Like, I think everybody, religious, non-religious, voodoo practicer, non-voodoo practicer, knows that Lougawous are a legit thing in Haiti, which is why most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they will not bring babies from America, especially to Haiti, because there's been so many cases of people's kids going missing when they go to Haiti with them. And like, my parents waited till I was like maybe 6 or 7. Not that it's like, you know, immune if the kid is older because they kill everyone, but they really go after babies. They really, really do. A lot of you guys are probably sitting there like, okay, how can you tell, like, if someone is a Lougawou if you don't see them at night? Well, the thing is, what most Lougawous, they have this thing in their eye. This is something that my parents always told me. They have like this thing in their eye where it's like their eyes aren't the same, and they also like have a real knack for kids. Like, so say if you have a baby, we all love babies, right? If you see a baby, it's like, oh my God, it's so cute. But it's like they have like this insane infatuation. Like, they won't keep their eyes off your kid. They keep asking you questions about the kid. All of a sudden, they want to know where you live. They want to know where you work. Because they want to know when you're going to be away from the baby. So now, if somehow you had this random encounter with somebody at the market or the marché, and you know, now they ask you all these motherfucking questions, and all of a sudden you see them near your neighborhood, and now your kid got a fever, you need to be very, very wary, because most likely the Lougawou has did something to this baby. Most of the time they have to turn into this form, so keep all types of animals away from your kid. And I'm not talking about just cats and dogs, I'm talking about bumblebees, I'm talking about birds, I'm talking about spiders. Well, I would hope you keep your kids away from those stuff, but I'm telling you, be very, very wary of that. Now, where do Lougawous live? I know you guys are sitting there like, like, if I go to Haiti for vacation, blah, 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 I need to know how to avoid these things, all of these shits in Haiti, Now, just like a zombie, a mermaid, or any other creatures ever, they're not trying to be seen. Okay, they're really not. They're not trying to be figured out. They're not trying to be out in the open because, one, they're ashamed to be turned into a Lougawou. They are ashamed that they have this ugly ass form inside of their human form or beneath their human form. They are ashamed that they have to kill babies and kill other humans to survive. So they're not trying to be out here getting figured out. So they're not about to just come out there and steal some motherfucking American for fun. Like, you will never really encounter one. You'll probably encounter a mermaid before you encounter a Lougawou because they really not trying to get figured out. Mermaids aren't either, but you get the point. Realistically, there's a part of Haiti where there's a lot of them and a whole lot of other like voodoo, mythical creature types of things, and it's called plaisance. I cannot say it, but I'll write it here. And they're also found in like a lot of the outskirt areas of Haiti because there's plenty of them. And a lot of them do live in their own communities. So be very, very wary of knocking on people's doors, okay? Because it could be a really, really dangerous situation. I know in the Cajun folklore that they say that the Rougarous reside in the bayou. They reside in the bayou Gula, I'm saying that right. And a lot of them can be found having a little ceremonies and all this extra shit. Like, it's a real thing. And the Lougawous also have their own kingdoms. Yes, like they have kingdoms, they got chiefs, they have all types of shit. Like, this is a real, like, royal family type of thing. There's also reports I've heard of like Lougawous flying and people flying on the backs of Lougawous, all types of shit. Like, now you guys are probably like, okay, so why would they kill babies? Like, babies are so innocent, babies are so pure, they're so little, they're so defenseless. Duh, that's the point. Like, babies are pure, they're innocent, they're defenseless. So it is easy to grab a baby out of its crib. It is easy to snatch a baby because it is small. Instead of going for a fucking impure, loud ass, ghetto ass, trash ass human, it's easier to just get this pure baby with its pure spirit to offer to the Boko. Because now the Boko can do whatever it is that they want with this baby. Not only is apparently, this is what I heard, the baby's blood is sweeter than an adult, okay? So, you know, they can suck the blood and do whatever it is. They can also take the soul of the baby and do whatever it is that they want to do with the baby. So it's kind of like having like a pure spirit soldier. The soul of the baby is malleable. So now you can make that baby soul or that young soul do whatever it is you want. It's a baby. It don't know any better. So that's another reason. I know all of this sounds really, really evil, and to be quite honest, it is. But I did come across some very interesting, I guess, positive stories regarding a Lougawou. Like, there is this one story that most Haitians are told when they're younger, and it is about a woman who was basically walking along the road in, again, Paliance, or Palisance, I don't know how to say it, but you get the point. And she saw this begging man. Keynote, if you ever just go to that part of Haiti and you see a begging man, 9 times out of 10, he's probably, anyhow. Basically, she was walking and the guy asked her for money because he's a beggar. There's lots of beggars in Haiti, right? She gives him money and I guess they strike up a conversation. She's like, yeah, you know, later on, I'm trying to go visit some family in a neighboring town. She's going to leave that night. The begging man is like, the night ain't for you. I suggest you go during the day. You don't know what comes out at night. And she's like, oh no, I'll be fine. He's like, okay, I mean, if you really insist, here is this goblet, okay? So he gives her this goblet. He's like, when you're traveling, carry this with you because you're going to need it. So she's like, okay. So she takes the goblet and she sets off on her journey at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Why the hell is anyone traveling at 1 o'clock in the morning to anywhere? I have absolutely no idea, but whatever. So she takes the goblet and literally throughout the entire time she's traveling, she keeps getting stopped. Like, there's groups of men, groups of women, groups of people that just keep stopping her, like, why are you here? Who gave you permission to be out here in the night? She's like, I'm going to visit family. And it's like, okay, who gave you your permission? And she shows the goblet, and they're like, you know what? Go right on ahead. She thinks this is weird, but she's like, okay. Next group of dudes now. Oh, so you mad bold? Like, who you think you is? Like, why you traveling at night? Who gave you permission? She's like, gives the goblet. They're like, you have a good friend. She's like, okay. Third time, y'all, third time. They're like, all right, like, who do you think you are traveling at night? Like, who gave you permission? Gives the goblet. At this point, they bring her to the chief of the Lougawous Petit. Yes, the chief of the Lougawous. And he is, like, elaborately dressed, like, on some, like, King George the 28th type shit. I don't even know. I don't know nothing about the royal family. But you get the point. Like, he is dressed royally. Like, he looks nice, you know, on some king status shit. And he's like, who gave you permission to be out here at this time? Again, she shows the goblet. And he's like, you've been blessed to have a really good friend in your life. So she goes about her business, goes to see her family, comes right back, sees the same beggar that gave her the goblet. At this point, she comes in with like food, like gifts and stuff, because she's like, yo, like, you really helped me out. Like, every time I got stopped, people were asking me who gave me permission to be out here, and I gave them the goblet, and they were like, oh my God, like, you have a good friend. Oh my God, like, you're protected, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, you don't recognize me from that night? And she's like, no. Apparently, this guy was the chief of the Lougawou, the last person that asked her, like, who gave you permission to be out here? So, it's crazy. There's been so many stories of Lougawous actually helping people, okay? There's another story of a guy that was just walking in the woods, and he was trying to get home, but he got lost. He encountered another dude in the woods. And the dude is like, why are you out here in the woods? You have no business being here. And he was like, oh, I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to visit a friend or family, whatever the case may be. He was like, if you do not leave in 5 minutes, the Lougawous will be here to get you. This man ran as fast as he can. All of a sudden, he looks back, and there's a tree, a walking tree, my nigga, a walking tree, which was the guy that warned him. Like, and he was a Lougawou, and he was going to find whoever was in the woods. So, I mean, these are stories that people tell us, okay? These are the 2 stories I grew up with. And it's really crazy because I looked at some like ancient folklore books that people have wrote, and those stories are also in there as well. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is a little interesting. Like, where did these stories come from? Which we all know, folkloric stories come from everywhere, and they are passed down from generation to generation. So that's neither here or there. I have so many friends who literally lost siblings. Like, yeah, I had a little brother, but you know, Lougawou took him. And guys, I know it does sound crazy. It really does. But, I mean, it's very much so possible, especially when the earthquake happened. When the earthquake happened, that's when this shit was serious, because at this point, everyone is displaced. People are living in tents. People are all over the place with their kids. What, the Lougawous on the prowl. So they was out here lynching the Lougawous heads off, all types of shit. So it's like one of those things where I guess it's up to your interpretation. Do you believe they're real? Do you believe they're fake? Why or why not? Comment down below. You know, to be honest, the origins and the truth about Lougawous has always been a mystery to me, because everything is so vastly different. Like, even when you talk about zombies, when you talk about mermaids, it's usually a consistent story. But Lougawous, depending on who you ask, it's completely different. So comment down below, because I would love to hear your stories. What have you heard about Lougawous or ROUGAROUS, and do you believe in them or not? I'm very 50-50. I don't want to say they don't exist, but like, there's just way too many inconsistent stories for me to believe 100%. So I say I believe like 70%. Like, yeah, I'm on the fence. So yeah, comment down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, get your merchandise, and I'm gonna see y'all next time.